So, on this lovely warm day, I welcome you, Homo sapiens listeners. I've got the delightful, the irreverent, the hilarious Raven Smith as my co host today. Welcome, Raven.
Hi everyone.
Do people call you like king of memes? Is that a thing?
People say all sorts. I am.
Like,
I have been. Yes, yeah, they do. I think people like that. I'm still doing that in this economy. Yeah.
am I dreaming? But the Raven just set down a gauntlet, which is the baby's asleep for now.
Yes.
So let's see how that goes.
She's had a whack of
Um,
milk. I kept her
yeah,
awake, and
yeah.
then if you hear the baby stirring, no, you didn't. That's what
No,
I'm
you
thinking.
did. Good. I I was actually reflecting on you
Mhm.
when you had your baby, and I was like, oh, I wonder what Raven's going to do when he has a baby, because a lot of your social media presence is like posting photos of your life, and then when
Mhm.
you have a baby, it just becomes like everything. Like,
Yeah,
um, but she does make an appearance, and
she makes an appearance. I wasn't sure whether I was going to post her online, and
yeah,
then I gazed upon her face, and I couldn't. I had to share it with the world.
yeah.
Mm.
But is it also question?
Mm.
Um, I mean, people don't post their children online. Why? As
They
in, what's the reason?
are worried about perverts. I think your own friends are,
Oh, right.
on the whole, not that
Some of your friends, some of my
not
closest
that
friends are.
fiddly, as I would call them.
Yeah.
None of my best friends are perverts, is what I'm hoping. So I think, and I also just don't like this. I find it quite creepy when people post pictures of their kids with like a scribble over the face. That to me seems more scary.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just post her. Someone sent me a DM being like, "It's really lovely you're posting your kid. You should just not share it to Facebook. That is where something is someone. That is where other people are looking that aren't your mates." So I just stopped sharing it to
Really?
Facebook. This is what I was told. I have absolutely nothing to back it up with, apart from this one DM from a stranger, which is sometimes enough to change an entire trajectory.
But she sort of immediately become part of your tone. You've absorbed her into the funny tone that you have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same as my cat. Not that she is the exact same as my cat, but the projection of her personality is she's cool with all of this. She's
Yes.
down. Yeah.
The so I always feel duty bound to explain to anyone, to that pervert listening who doesn't isn't familiar with your account.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you an example of something that Raven posts that's hilarious.
Mm.
So Raven posts a picture of Kristen Stewart, a video of Kristen Stewart stumbling down a hallway when she's playing Princess Diana because she's in pain, and then
Mm.
the caption underneath is "Leaving Taylor Swift's wedding with a GoPro up my ass." Um,
Yeah.
how? What? So, are you and like Paul Mescal features a lot. There's a
Yeah.
picture of Paul Mescal in a sort of 15th century costume. It says, "Me disguised as a bubonic plague, so Paul will catch me and spread me." Or a picture of Rihanna in this pink crazy dress that says, "Carrie would have worn this to the dentist."
Yeah.
Are you a confident poster, or does it take lots of thought to think of these things, because
No,
they really are the nexus of funny things about
the
culture?
less I think about it, the better the post is. The more prep and the
Interesting.
more overthinking and the more sort of like, oh, it's daylight savings, I should say something about it getting dark early, the less funny it is. I love to
Hmm.
chat, and it is just like a passing cloud. It's just on the main feed. But the best ones just are the moment of a brand new picture or a brand new idea with an old picture.
And do, have you ever had a bad reaction? I feel like you never get a bad reaction.
Um, have I ever had a bad reaction? That Paul Mescal one was a little bit spicy. just I
Really?
think that I don't know. People still get the bubonic plague, don't they? So
Oh, right.
there's that. I once posted a picture from there's like a Met Gala type scene in The Devil Wears Prada, and someone had augmented all the boobs massive, and some people were really upset that I had posted kind of big titty Anne Hathaway. They didn't like it,
Really?
but I didn't make the picture. They just hadn't seen it before, so I didn't feel that bad.
But I feel like people are behind the spirit of your things, whereas sometimes people can't post anything without people being like, yeah, but you know.
I think people know that I am genuinely irreverent. I care about loads of stuff. I care about aesthetic, but I am just wanting to have a good time on the internet. And you know, there's always this feeling of like, is it fun or is it feelings? What am I posting today? And I just normally err on the side of fun. I err on the side of fun.
That's a nice way to think about it, though. Fun or
Mm.
feelings.
Mm.
Do you? Where do you get your news from? Like, where are you? How do you? Yeah,
I guess I
absorb.
am a real lover of the New York Times app. So I get the alerts from the NYT, and they do me a roundup in the morning. But that is kind of it. I'm for celebrity news. It's different because I would, if I'm writing a column,
Yeah.
and I want to know what everyone is talking about. You normally get that from Twitter, which is quite a
Okay.
journalist. It is a place where journalists hang out and get their and like that is where the news comes from. You know, there's a lot of
Is
people, a lot of us
is
still
that the
on there.
problem?
It's the echo chamber.
Interesting.
Mm.
But tell me about the time that you first posted one of those, and it was a thing.
I don't know when Beyonce announced she was pregnant with the twins, and I thought the picture was crazy. She's like kneeling and she's got a blue veil and a pink veil. And I was
Yes.
like, I think my caption was, "What the fuck, Beyonce? Is this a test?" And I just remember people just going crazy for it. People loved it. So that's one of the times when the dopamine was dopamining, and I just remember,
Yeah.
it was sort of it was either just before the pandemic, but I was freelance and I wasn't working flat out, so I was
Yeah.
just at home basking in the glow of my own personality.
But it was completely unintentional.
Yeah, it just I just when I was first on Instagram, it was a much more kind of a hazy filter classic place, and I was doing a lot more kind of showing off my appreciation of fine images. You know, I was doing a lot
Yeah.
more chic fashion imagery, and I think at that time on the internet, in whenever it was, I mean, it's 15 years old today, I think, Instagram, and
Oh.
I definitely wasn't there on the day. Happy birthday!
Uh-huh.
But I think it was I was working at Nowness, and our kind of mantra at Nowness was to make something timely that also felt timeless, that you could look at it again in a week and it would still feel, relevant. And I don't know when for me that changed, but when I was working at the beginning on, building an audience at Nowness and building a little audience for myself, I was trying to make stuff that you could scroll at any time and it would still be relevant and funny and have a moment. And something really shifted where I think people don't really care about coming back to my feed and scrolling right through it and seeing a joke from even 2 weeks ago. They want the timely moment. So that is what
Oh, interesting.
that has been. The timelessness is not what the internet is that Instagram is about. It might swing back, but it's just not what my feed does not need to be timeless anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, and just define what Nowness was for anyone who doesn't know.
Nowness was a short. Oh God, I've not done this for half a century. Nowness was a short form video platform showcasing the best in video. It still is.
Okay.
Nowness is a short form video platform showcasing the best of the everyday is where we were at. But I haven't worked there for 10 years. So
Yes.
I was part of that founding team. And I think the question when we started in 2010 was, can luxury exist?
Will the internet take off?
Yeah, but can luxury exist online? Do you have to go into Louis Vuitton to really have a sense of the finery? And obviously nowadays that is no longer the challenge for them, for anyone.
No.
No.
Have you seen the Spike Jonze movie for, who is it? Gucci?
Is it recent?
Yeah.
No.
I
Was
am
it on Twitter?
astounded that you haven't seen. Yeah. Spike Jones
What's happening in
fashion.
it?
The tiger for Gucci
Oh right, I saw all the people on the steps going to the screening
premiere,
So
but not the film.
yeah,
It's 30
but not the
minutes long.
film. But I think
It's-
that is
dodgy.
what people. I think that is what big brands should be making, stuff that feels like an event that isn't just a kind of stop and repeat on a red carpet. You kind of just want. I also just don't think people are partying like they used to. You know, Fashion Week 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago was not. There's not a lot of young people queuing outside trying to get in and get pissed for free. It's much more of a like. And I think that's. I don't want to. That is one of the things with Gen Z is that, you know, when I got drunk in my 20s, there's no record of it anywhere. And I think they're just very aware that things for them to stick around forever. Someone's always got a camera and it doesn't go away. So I think they're just more careful about getting tanked.
And have you heard a Gen Z person say that? Given that both of us just squeeze past the.
Yeah, May, I am an elder millennial. No, but I just don't. There isn't that sense that people are like. If you look at nightlife, it is crumbling because there's no reason to dress nicely and go out and try and find someone to make out with. That you don't have to do that anymore. You can dial it to your door. So I think that has an impact on the way people present themselves. You don't have to bother to go anywhere in order to kiss a boy, if that's what you want to do. And I think for me, going out was always about, not always about shagging, but like that is how, if you want to have sex and you're single, you have to go to the club.
Yes, but interesting because so today we're going to be talking about online comparison culture because we asked people what they wanted to talk about, and that was one of the topics. And it's quite interesting though that you say that people aren't queuing to get into those big Fashion Week parties like the Gucci party or whatever, you know, making it up. But like when actually you would think that people would, so that then they could post it and say they were there. And that's interesting that people aren't going to those things. And
I just think the access is through your phone to most of these spaces, and I think people don't feel the need to attend in person if they don't think they're going to get in, I guess.
Yes. The other big thing that we just touched on a minute ago that people asked about is parenting.
Yes.
Queer parenting, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking at all about your journey?
Happily.
And all that jazz? We don't have to.
Happily.
Okay. So you and Dickie, your husband, does he still call himself Dickie? You said Richard the other day.
It's a masterstroke of rebranding, Dickie Danks. And so when we met in 2010, I was like, I'm seeing this guy called Dickie Danks, and people were like, what a great name. And I was like, not really his name. I call him Richard, but I think those kind of affectionate names just don't last a very long time. He will call himself Richard. Right. But calling him Dickie's fine. It's after Dickie Greenleaf, but at the time it was.
Yes.
The greatest man who's ever lived. I mean, toxic, but sure.
Now, are we talking about Richard or?
Yeah, no.
Toxic, but sure.
Yeah.
So you and your husband, Richard, you had a kid, and we've talked bits and pieces over the last couple of years as it's been in its brewing. But how did it all start? What made you want to do it?
On our first date, we said, let's have twins called Harry and Henry. Richard's name's not mine. And he was like, and so it's always been on the cards. And then I think it got a bit more serious in about 2018 or 19. I think for me, I always felt ready. And I think Richard had a kind of more traditional boy approach to it, which is like, I need to be making more money. I need to be living in a bigger house. Like, am I ready? That kind of creating stability for the family unit was more of a preoccupation for him. But that, in 2019, we found a surrogate, and we were in the middle of a house renovation. We were, going out of our minds trying to find £500 to pay a builder or pay a supplier. And it just wasn't a time to in Britain. That was British surrogacy. It just wasn't a time for us financially. And then the pandemic hit, and then the knock-on effect of that meant it kind of went away for a little while. And then it came back. Richard got a new job, and I think that he felt a bit more secure. I don't know. He's always wanted it.
Executive Richard.
Yeah, and I think it just all my girlfriends had kids. There was a period when I was pretty. I'm trying to think of a better word than angry, but I was pretty angry. Looking back, I can see how frustrated and angry I was about not being a dad yet. And now, and something kind of broke about 18 months ago, when I was not much less angry and much more, some kind of radical acceptance took over. And since then, that has been the case. Whatever happens, I'm like, well, this is what was meant to happen. Nearly everything in my life is like, well, was this meant to be? I don't know. Yes, it's happening. So yes, it's not happening. So no. So that angry period passed, but I think it is really important to reflect on the fact that I was like, I need to write another book. I need my own TV show. I need my own podcast. I was very militant about getting shit done at that time. And I think it was aggressive. And in retrospect, it was the kind of fallout from feeling like it was time for me to have a kid, and realizing that is not, for two men, a quick, or it's not a shag for two men, it's a whole cavalcade of other stuff that gets you to your baby in your arms. And Richard quite liked having more. Every time they were like, it might be 18 months, I could see Richard was relieved. And that was winding me up as well. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready, by the way. I said that with some determination. So yeah, I was really ready. And we met with an agency in the UK, and they had a Mexico pathway. So the baby, we had a Mexican surrogate that we met. I don't know, about 4 months before she started trying to get pregnant. First time, luckily. I mean, it's just every baby's a miracle, but the fact that we bought eggs from London Egg Bank. Richard sent his picture to the London Egg Bank, and they picked out a woman that matched his description, because they can see the women, but we can't. And then, we got 3 embryos. They were transported to Mexico. A guy takes it like a Jurassic Park, not in a little fridge on his lap.
Escorts them. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Actually, kind of a dream job, unless you drop it, and then it's a nightmare. And then,
so put it down in prep.
Yeah, we were waiting for our surrogate's progesterone, and so she was taking injections for that. So that delayed us by about a month, but like 4 months. Also, insurance it was a big delay. So your insurance has to be 6 months, has to be quite ripe before they will start. Because if you have a set of twins at 6 months, no one wants to be liable. You want your insurance to cover that, so you have to have a certain amount of insurance to get to that point.
We can put it in the show notes if you can't remember offhand, but like, what were your first resources that you went to for anyone who wants to do this?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think I just Googled it. There's 2 big-ish agencies in the UK. They're like Montague and Capulet. I feel like they're really quiet war. I like to think that there's a little healthy competition between them. Just Google it. We were with My Surrogacy Journey, and they basically hold your hand from start to finish. And we're about, 2 months from the British birth order. I hope that's what it's called. Richard's the kind of more paperworky. I'm like, how does everyone feel? What's the general emotional sense of everyone in this room? I'm much more that.
And how did you feel throughout the process? Tell me about a moment where it felt great.
Oh, that's really hard, because it is so daunting finding out you're definitely going to have a kid. And also, I think this is true for pregnancy, whatever your situation. It is 40 weeks, 10 months of like, this thing is happening, but it's not happening right now. And it might, and it should happen in 40 weeks. But part of you is like, it might not happen as well. Something you're kind of prepared for. You're not in a sense of trepidation about things going wrong. I certainly wasn't like dooming out and thinking and and I wasn't particularly anxious about it, but it's just not, it's not a goal till it hits the back of the net. And I think for everyone, that time is full of like, people reflect back to you how excited they are, and it's hard to be excited because you are just trying to keep on an equilibrium where the good thing about pregnancy is that nature has designed it to come at you. Having a baby to come very incrementally, and you have you find out you're pregnant and you have time, and you have a baby, and the baby isn't also gives you some time as well if you're very lucky. So it was incremental, but that whole time I just felt like I should be. There's just this constant thing in your head of like, there'll be none of this when the baby comes. So you're sort of on this goodbye tour to your life of like two people. The logistics of two men is so simple. Two adults. So you're kind of constantly aware that it's like, maybe this is the last time I go out on a Tuesday night. There'll be none of this when the baby comes. Oh, I've gone to yoga for 2 hours on a Saturday morning. There'll be none of this when the baby comes. So there was a feeling of kind of saying goodbye to all that, but because it's so long, you're also doing the things you think of the last time again and again and again.
And how, since you have had your baby and you have you kissed goodbye to all of that, or have you managed?
No, not at all. It's just, it's such a, I think for me, the hugest relief, even though I wasn't in a kind of non-relief state of mind, I wasn't like anxious and then, oh, I'm relieved the baby's here. But the biggest relief for me is that my assumption about baby brain, or the fabled baby brain, and the fabled lack of sleep, and the fabled kind of the crushing weight of being in charge of someone else's life has not been crushing for me. I'm still feel very. I think the relief is that like, once you get used to being tired, everything else is pretty much the same. The first 10 days of your first baby, are just a baptism of fire. Like you're watching her chest. I was nudging the crib to make sure she like had some alert, like just always worried about, just very hyper focused on, is she okay? But once you kind of hit 10 days, she becomes a sort of, it's Groundhog Day. Can you hear that?
Yes.
You hear the baby? Yeah. The first 10 days are just such a baptism of fire, and then it's Groundhog Day, and you are just living. We were living in Mexico, calling the passport offices, Mexican and British, to just try and get a passport to bring her home. Yes. And when she's awake, it's so lovely. Like getting up to look after a baby is not like getting up for EasyJet from Luton. It's just not. The second you're looking at your kid, it's just the texture is completely different. Even though you're not sleeping, everything people tell you is true. You don't sleep. You get covered in poo and wee and sick, but it's not gross.
That was happening at Adonis anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's my 20s, up all night, covered in effluence.
But I think the thing that people don't explain to you, I think there's lots of things that people don't explain to you, but if you have an immediate bond with this little person, if that's lucky enough to happen to you, which if it doesn't, that's also fine, but if it does, it's like having a family member stay with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you're not like, oh, there's this other person, oh, I have to look after it. It's just for that very kind of like, well, they're here, so let's sort it.
Yeah.
And no one explained that to me, so I was like so scared. And I remember the moment before Peg, our first, was born. Like I sat outside the room, and someone was having a baby in the next door room, and the baby was born and started screaming.
Yeah.
And Peg was about to be born, and I could hear the screaming, and I was like, oh no, I won't know what to do when that happens. Maybe ours won't scream. Maybe we'll have one that doesn't scream. And I really genuinely was like, maybe that'll be fine. And then I was like, but if they don't scream when they come out, that's a real problem. So you want her to scream. But I
Yeah.
just don't know how I'm going to solve it. It was like, it's just so stupid because basically no one tells you that you will just kind of know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely had this moment when Peg was born that I had been really like, I'm going to fuck the whole thing up. And then as soon as she was born, I had this feeling, this voice inside me said, everybody can go now. I know exactly what to do. We can all just be together.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
And babies are just, you know, on the whole part, pretty resilient. My kid she's had a couple of big meltdowns, but 10 minutes after, it's like it never happened for her. She's like, what's cooking? What? Hi, everyone. And I'm like, wow, having a baby is a bit like you take it, like being with your your liability drunk mate who is like screaming, crying, throwing up, and then wakes up and is like, what's for breakfast? What are we eating? And I'm like, you were crazy last night. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's exactly how I describe it. That's so funny. It's like it's like hanging around with someone really drunk the whole time where you're like, just stop, leave it, don't. But you
try and lift your head up. Can you just try and support your own head for a minute? I can't turn my back on you. Yeah,
exactly. So Raven, one of the topics to talk about today, so let's dive into it, is I think we're talking about that moment when you're sitting in your pants at home, scrolling through the internet, and you see somebody, you start looking at other people's holidays, other people's lives, and you feel the green surge of envy. Are you familiar with that?
I am not. No, I am. Imagine. Not me. Not me.
Immune.
That could never be me.
Right, so let's look at some stats, because we've got some stats.
Yeah.
Do you compare yourself to others online? We asked. 79% of you said yes, you do compare yourself to others online. Has social media ever made you feel behind in life? 85% of you said yes.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Have you ever posted anything you know will make others envious? Only 64% of you have said yes. Now, have you? And then I said, and finally, why are all the gays on socials on holiday the whole time?
Yeah.
To which Robert said, because they all work for airlines.
Oh, wow.
Robert,
what is this, 19?
I hope Robert's
12?
queer. Yeah. So have you ever posted, what's your relationship with that stuff, Raven, about posting stuff? Because obviously you post a very glamorous life online, going to incredible places and incredible trips. How do you are you ever mindful of the envy it creates?
No, I don't. Am I creating envy? I think it is just a kind of a robberus of transmitting and receiving. I don't think it's as like I am. Yeah, that's this one.
Okay, I don't know.
Right, like the 8 on its side, infinity.
Oh, right.
I hope that's it. Actually, when I think about what my ambitions were, and I think about my 5-year plan, it was all, I was like, I just want to have a family. So that was, so seeing happy families was a bit more triggering for me personally. But nowadays, I don't know, it's a difficult one because I love being a gay man and I love the privileges of that for me personally. And I loved being, hot and fun when I was younger, but I just had this feeling for so long thank you, but I just had this feeling that wasn't all, that it just wasn't going to be enough for me longer term. And I think for a lot of some gay men my age, there's a different I think that aspiration of where how hot you can be this summer, it's definitely not all gay men, but that is what is being reflected back to you a lot online. This kind of not even Ken, like giant Ken, like 2 Kens in one. It's not like I hate
double
abs.
Ken.
It's not like I hate abs and I hate muscle and I hate cum gutters. It's not that. It's just that it just wasn't. I'm very happy to be in a place where I'm not like I'm wishing for more anymore.
I think it's really interesting you just said that it was families you got jealous of because,
Mm,
or but because I like that whole Ken thing kind of leaves me cold.
mm,
I think because I know I'm never going to be able to compete, and also I feel like I know enough about how much hard work that takes, and it's just not real. And that's possibly
yeah.
to do with my job. Do you know what I mean? Like my job is like anyone who has to be in that shape in a show I'm directing or whatever. It's like they're like, "Help me, I can't eat," or
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
So I'm like, I'm aware that some people put in the time to that, but it's not real. But I did, and also when you said anger earlier, I thought that was really
Mm,
interesting because I totally went through this stage where, and I've had a version of it actually being older as well, anger at how simple it is for other people. And I'm really not the sort of person who gets like, woe is me about other people having stuff and me not. I'm always like, cool, cards, you know, cards were dealt to you in life.
yeah,
And you really are very, very lucky. And someone said this thing of like, focus on every day, focus on why what you're doing makes you blessed and
yeah,
you will be happy. Now that's a bit cheesy, but it is kind of true. Like that, like if you actually just focus on what you're grateful for, basically none of this is new news. But I did get really angry about that and the fact that I had to go through so much admin to explain how I wanted to have a family and how, and then
mm,
now when we travel with our kids, whenever we come back into the country,
mm,
because they have different passports and stuff, we always get stopped, and we have to like explain with a massive queue behind us like who we are and what we are, and it is
yeah,
actually entirely legal at time of print. Like, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like it is entirely legal. It should be understood, and it pisses me off that I have to
yeah,
explain it in a way that it doesn't come from a like, they're not like, let me understand. They're like, prove to me you're not a criminal. The vibe can be
yes.
very that. And I get it, they're trying to do their job, but that also weirdly makes me angry in a way that I don't often, lots of things don't wind me up, but that does.
You have to know that if you have a different surname to the child you're traveling with, the
Mm.
same thing will happen regardless of any of the genders of the thing. Which is why my daughter has
Yes.
both of our last names. But I also think,
But our daughters have our
yeah,
last names.
yeah, you should, yeah,
We just look dodgy.
yeah. I'm very suspicious as a person.
No, I mean I look dodgy,
I
not
also
you.
think it's like, if one child doesn't get trafficked because of my hold up, maybe that's okay. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? It's so what
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely.
it's really hard. Or one, teenager. It's really I don't know. It's never been a, as a
But I
black person living in a
do,
predominantly white society. I am used to getting followed around the
yes,
supermarket, and I'm like, bitch, I
yeah,
work at Vogue. But it still happens to me. I don't go out in a
yeah,
hoodie because people
yeah,
mis- make assumptions about me even
yeah,
when I'm wearing the row. So let them,
yeah,
like, I have to accept that that is not on me. It's not it's not a burden for me to carry, which is what I try,
yeah.
which is how I try and be about it. But I
No,
do
it's really good
think,
that.
yeah, yeah. But I also think if I grew up, pretty poor. Not this is it's a whole thing. I
Is
grew up
David
with
Beckham
not a
about to put his
lot.
head round the door
Yeah,
and go,
no,
tell him what you
no.
drove
But
to school in?
when I say I'm working class and I talk about my upbringing, and then Richard says he's working class, and there are strata within that. But I
Mm,
grew up wanting for stuff a lot of the time, and I also
yeah.
grew up with people being like, "Why is your mum white?" And I think a big
Mm,
part of my who becoming Raven Smith, becoming who I am, is just always, it happened so early because there was so much kind of um, there were a lot of questions about my identity from a very young age. I was very exuberant, very
mm,
gay little black
mm,
boy in a,
mm,
in Brighton, which is fairly multicultural, but it's not Brixton, which is where I
mm,
had left. So so
mm,
I, I I like that I can rely on the things that I know about myself. I don't think maybe I wouldn't be as immediate or charismatic as I am. I can't. It's not something I'm doing, but it has developed within me, probably based on people making assumptions about me when they first meet me as a you know teeny young thing.
trying to pre-seal off the fact that people might think you're bad news. So you're like, I need to be ultra charismatic in order that everyone likes me.
I just don't even think it was logic at that age. It's just what happened to me. So I'm reliant on the fact that I get on with people, and I just know that I get on with people, and it's like, oh, I just need to find the bit where we get on, and that has been quite driving, which is less of a thing that you could be jealous about online.
Yes. But did you find yourself, you said you grew up wanting, did you find yourself comparing a lot growing up?
I think my mum asked me when I was like 6, what do you want to be? And I was like middle class. I was very aware of not being middle class when I was growing up. I'm not sure I assumed they had more stuff. They had au pairs, sure. But I just remember thinking that is what I wanted to be.
Yes.
Big time.
And do you remember a moment where you felt wanting in that way? When you were
I just remember going to other people's houses and thinking they were like Aladdin's cave, humongous. And all of our furniture being, the stuff that they didn't want anymore. We had a lot of hand-me-down furniture in my house. And that was one thing that I just hated. Nothing matched, but nothing matches in my house now, but it's a middle-class affectation. It's not. It's not because I have no choices. I think I was just very aware that we had less choices as a family, me and my mum as a twosome.
But I'm really surprised to hear that you have compared yourself to people online, because you seem quite impervious to that stuff. So it's quite interesting to know that you...
I'm not impervious to like the people being hot, being traditionally hot. It's just how our society is. It's rewarded in our society across the board. So it's hard to kind of. It's the same as my like. How camp am I? How feminine am I? I'm pretty liberal and open-minded, but I still have little rules for myself about how far I'll dip my toe into anything that doesn't that feels. Even though I. Yeah. I think I police my masculinity. That's a heavier way to say it, but I certainly am not just being what I see as girly all the time. It's not something
you're not. As in, you're not. I am
aware of it. It's not that I'm desperate to do it, but I'm quite happy to be a relic of a time where there were just boys and girls. That's how I grew up. And I'm a little fossil of that, and some of that's really ingrained. I do not give a shit how people want to live now, and I think everyone deserves their rights. I'm not, but I still, even on my book tour when I wrote Men and wrote all about masculinity and how it's manifesting in different ways, I was like, I'm not wearing that. That's too blousy. Like it's still, it's just what I am. Yeah.
No, it's great. It's great that just to say that you learned all about what the better version should be doesn't mean you haven't got it ingrained in you. I'm the same, totally the same. It's like, and also I find it like with parenting as well. It's like sometimes when I'm at the school gates, I'm like, no one needs the queerest version of me to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm almost like invisible dad vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't mind. It's not like I'm pretending, but it's also just I'm not really. I don't know quite how you describe it, but.
Yeah, I've not done any like mother baby stuff. Mother baby, is that what we're saying? I've not done any of that, but I just know I'm going to get on with people. I just got to wait.
They're going to love you,
happens
Raven.
to me. I'm like, I'm going to find someone I get on with. This is what's going to happen. The one thing I'm trying to do in my house is have it not look like things I've seen on Instagram. But I also appreciate that if you are an aesthetic person, I was going to say if you're an aesthete, which sounds fucking wanky, but if you're an aesthetic person, you're not posting crap pictures. You're making everything look somehow alluring. So I don't think I can stop doing that. Have I posted things to make other people jealous, or am I? No, never. No, but I'm a extrovert at heart, so Instagram is an extension of that extroversion, and I think the more that when I was getting more popular earlier, the backlash if you're sharing everything is quite painful. if you're
Oh,
sharing
really?
every part of your life. Yeah. You know, I was, yeah, for
In
sure.
what
So
way?
I just think you end up like a lot of people our age. There isn't definitely a clear cut separation between who I am and who I am online. They're not separate things to me, and I can't tell you how much of my development is it because it's in tandem with broadcasting, the great age of personal broadcasting. I can't tell you how much of that is organic. It's not inauthentic, but it isn't we've bled into each other, the me and social media, because
Yeah.
what I'm not doing is believing everything I scroll past as real. And I think that's a help. I hope people are able to be that healthy. But you should just know to put your phone down. If you're feeling ugly, put your phone down. That is buy something. Don't buy something for yourself. Buy something for someone you really like. That is the best way to
That's
feel better about most
nice.
things.
That's nice. I love that. But then when you so what were you posting that you stopped because people were being mean? I'm interested in that. I didn't know that.
I just think I was much more. It's just can be irritating. Instagram especially is an app where you post and people comment. So that is the mechanic of the whole thing. And I think I was just feeling. I think people think they know you quite well, and that's
Yeah.
a bit that parasocial stuff. I just like to have private stuff too. I know it seems like I'm an open book, and I am in many ways, but I just don't feel the impetus to turn everything into content. Even though I've posted a lot of pictures of my kid.
But I think it's no, I can't remember who. I mean, I think what's really surprising, what might be really surprising to people, and people have spoken about this, is a lot of those massive influencer people, or like Selena Gomez, is as in like they're not influencers, but they have a massive following. They are spending no time online, like zero. You know, like they create content to make it feel like it, but they're not actually posting that stuff. And I don't think I think what's really interesting is so I don't think you post things to make people feel envious. There wasn't an inference under that. But I think one has to be not mindful. One has to be aware that is the aggregate result sometimes, and that's the thing that fucks me up about social media, because I've just spoken a minute ago about feeling angry that other people could have children, for example, and then when I got into having kids, I was like, I really didn't want to post it, just being honest, because I was like, I feel like it's like a real privilege that's taken me a long time, and that bit hasn't been documented. It took 10 years, and I feel like I don't want anyone to feel shit about it because I posted it, because and I know there's another side which is like representation and helping people understand the journey and all of that, but I've just overthought it to the point that I just haven't done it.
I think that's a good way to be too. You don't have an obligation to share anything.
No, but no, you don't. But I also think you get one of the things that I love, and the reason I love social media, is I've met so many people on it. Like I've connected with so many people who I adore because of it, because it's about visibility. Like that guy Matt XIV, or I can't remember his name, but like what he shares online and all of that. Like I really like sharing the world news through a queer lens and stuff. Like I really love all of that, and I would be really sorry for that to leave my life. Or even like your posts. I love someone who lightning conducts what's going on at the moment and makes it funny. Where are you getting that in other media? You're just not. Like other media is so dry.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like my job is to entertain, and I make no bones about it. I like to be entertaining, and I'm not looking to be. The more popular you get, the less people understand you. So I'm not looking to be understood better from this. I want us all to just have a good time.
Oh, that's
yeah, because it's just so there's so many layers to being a human person that it's almost impossible for someone. I have a really great sense of myself, but I don't quite necessarily get it all. And the idea that someone else should seems a little bit reachy.
So you were saying a minute ago, if you feel like you're not feeling great about yourself, or, let's fold into that. If you feel like you're comparing too much, just put your phone down. Do you limit your time online?
Yeah, well, I have that alert comes up all the time saying, you put your phone
That's
down
not
now.
the same.
You agreed you were going to not do this all day. It just
What? Do
depends.
what?
I thought when I had like be on this app, they're like this.
Oh, I
you,
see.
You
Yeah.
said you weren't going to do this, and I'm like, yeah, go away.
Go away.
Do I limit my time online? No, but I feel like if you're going to write about current affairs, it's very hard to do that without being switched onto them. It's really, really hard to do what I do without being highly interneted. And I just am not following lots of. I follow my mates, but I'm not. I don't know. Am I following lots of people that I wish? I don't know. I do get envious when people get a great job, and I think, oh, I could do that. But that is not. My profile is not the same as other people's profiles, and it makes me ambitious, but it's not envy. It makes me more ambitious to do more.
So top 3 things you get envious of.
Oh, that's just red carpet hosts, late night TV hosts. They're the 2, really. I'm not envious of people's bodies. Yeah, well,
Amelia
she used to be my intern, but Anna.
Oh, interesting.
But that's not a bad thing. It's just I just find it very funny. And whenever we're out together, I'm like, it's my old intern. She's a superstar. She's a literal superstar. But I also think that people that come for me, if it's people that are similar to me that give me the most kind of back chat and sass. It is gay men who are funny and can speak and are up to date with cultural affairs. And I think that is the gritty bit of the relationship, because why do I have a career doing something that lots of gay men do all the time? I can't tell. It's all about. It's not like I work harder, or it's like talent, chance, and working hard. Like it's just not. It's just what has happened for me, and I think other people are like, "Well, I'm funny. Why do you get to be funny over in this space?"
Yes.
The closer it is, the more it. I don't think I'm not jealous of the Windsors.
But when you say back chat, what are we talking? People like trolling you on social media?
A little bit, but it's just. I think in the pandemic, when everyone was on their phones, it was just the back, and it was just a much more. The audience was just so much bigger. Because we were all doing the same thing. There wasn't anything else to do. And I think it did calm down. I think everyone also really wanted to, align themselves with groupthink. I've never seen anything happen for a celebrity that the comments below weren't like, but this is problematic because of this other thing. So I think you have to expect, I'm a celebrity, but like, I think you have to expect, the thing is I don't think my voice is more important. I might be a Vogue columnist and I might have a decent whack of followers on Instagram, but I don't think my opinion is more important than someone else's opinion. So I sort of in the pandemic was a lot more like, oh, they can come for me because I'm not of better opinions. They just have a different one. So I was letting more of it in, and then that doesn't last very long.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And do you? So when it gets like that, does it ever affect your mental health?
No, I'm pretty resilient. This radical acceptance stage has been pretty good for me. I was definitely depressed when I was a teenager, but it's because I realized I was gay, and I was like, oh, people aren't. This is not what people are.
Yeah.
Not everyone. This is not a society built for me to just be gay.
This ain't gonna work, honey. Yeah.
This is something I have to be quiet about, and I think the day I came out, it was completely different. I was just. It's like all this I don't know. All the parts of me that I felt were like clues to being gay, was suppressing them. I don't think anyone was like, "There's that straight guy, Raven," but I was suppressing a lot of the kind of the flair of that
You weren't
flair
wearing the
part of me.
ruffs.
No, I wasn't. I was wearing baggy jeans and I was hanging out with skaters, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I still wasn't like them. They're all white as well. So like I've always been other, but I think the second I came out to my mum, it was like it just like I just topped back
That's
up
great.
with myself. It was like yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm not just hiding this big secret. And my mum's pretty liberal. I don't think, and she knew when I was 3, you know. So I don't
Did
think.
she?
Yeah, she said she talked to someone about it when I was 3. She just knew. But I still had to come out to her at 15. But sure. 15 is also
15's young.
not. It's really young. It's just coming out to your mum when you're a gay man is like, I like willies. Like that's all. That's what you're actually saying out loud. I love other men's willies. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's not cultural. It's just sex. This is my sexuality. This is what I want to do with men. Like that's a big thing to have to say out loud to your man.
So to conclude, Raven, do
Yes.
you think this comparison thing is more? It's LGBT people do it more than others, or do you think it is human nature and that's that?
It's absolutely human nature.
And the latest vessel for it is social media. But I do think queer people do it more. I think there's an element, I'm not to say other people don't do it, but I think there is an element of what you were talking about, like being pleasant to be around, you know, making sure you're being pleasant to be around, and I think I think we are constantly scanning the horizon for how to be the most pleasing version of ourselves, and I think comparison is in that. I think it's worth. I'd like people to write in hello@homosapienspodcast.com, @homosapiens on Instagram. Tell us what you think of that. Raven, this has been a wonderful chat. It's the beginning, listeners, as you know. hello@homosapienspodcast.com, @homosapiens on Instagram, @homosapienspod on YouTube if you want to watch this. We would love you to continue to contribute to this discussion. Raven, you've been wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Had a nice time?
I was talking about one of my favorite subjects myself, so I had a whale of a time.
Good. Well, we'll see you next time. And thank you, everybody. And we'll say bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.